Welcome to Same Cast Different Day podcast. I am Martel Rowland. Thank you all for joining me on this new edition of the podcast. Tina Marie is still out. She is currently on vacation. She should be on a plane heading back from Vegas, I believe. Yeah, she should be on a plane heading back from Vegas. So I'm here all along to try to get you guys caught up and keep the show going. So to kick things off, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's been happening in the news lately, especially with Charlie Kirk. I did do a short video earlier, well, I think earlier this week, and so I'm just going to what's the word? Revise it, go back on it. I don't know. One of the main things was I did say in that video that the Tyler, I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy who assassinated Charlie Kirk was a far right, and it turns out that he did leave towards the Democratic side, but his family raised him to be a conservative, which is a Republican. So he did have some Republican ties, and we're going to get into that. We'll get into the whole Charlie Kirk thing and Disney. So let's get this thing going. So, due to the actions of a man, we were seeing, spreading all this hate uh, about people around the world. He just spreaded a lot of hate. Charlie Kirk's death brought out the worst in people. His death proved his death. Oh God, his death proved how racist MAGA is. We we had a white man. We had white men walking down the street in L.A. talking about taking back America. Threats were made on historical black colleges. The person who was suspected of killing Charlie Kirk um, is now claiming that, like I said before, that he was a far left. This was a radical far left killing, is what a lot of the media was calling it. His roommate was a transgender and showed signs of having democratic views. Before those reports came out, there were talk online about he shot Charlie Kirk because he wasn't conservative enough. What do I know? What I do know is that MAGA is using Charlie's death to create a civil war. MAGA wants the president to give them permission to go and kill people who consider themselves Democrats. MAGA wants the president to give them permission to go out and kill people who consider themselves Democrats. And they have posted videos. There were videos posted on TikTok of actual MAGA people saying that, by the way. You can go search for that yourself. Um, Before those reports came out, there was. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I went to the wrong spot. What I do know is that. Oh wait, I'm messing up, y'all. Okay, we now live in a world where you cannot express different thoughts, opinions, or beliefs. This current administration has been overstepping people's civil rights from day one. People are losing their jobs because they are voicing their thoughts on Charlie. And I get that we should not be making fun of this man's death the way how some people were doing it. But then at the same time, it's like it's still freedom of speech. I can say what I want to say, whatever. This shouldn't cost me my job because I'm basically voicing how I feel. And then these people who are mad were the same people who are making jokes about other people's deaths. For example, the same group of people were buying so as I'm talking about MAGA, by the way. So these people who were saying, oh, they should be making fun of Charlie Kirk's death like that. So the same group of people who were making fun of Charlie Kirk's death, these were the same people who were buying Skittles for George Zimmerman, the man who killed Trayvon Martin. They bought Skittles for him to sign. This man was actually going out in public after killing a young black man, getting away with it, and then people taking bags of Skittles to these meet and greets to have him sign it for killing an innocent black kid. They were celebrating that. The people who made fun of George Floyd, when he was killed, they were saying that, oh, he was a druggie and all these other kind of things. Even Charlie Kirk had excuses for while George Foreman was not George Foreman, George Floyd was killed, and it just disgusts me the way how that man really thinks. It bothers me how he really thinks. It bothers me how people really think in this world, I should say. So now that the tables has been turned, they want to condemn people for what they were doing, the same thing they were doing, who spread so much hate. Um, Charlie Kirk said if his 10-year-old daughter was to get raped, he would he would expect her to keep the baby. Charlie Kirk was the man who said that the Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake. And by the way, the Civil Rights Act outlaws segregation in businesses such as theaters, restaurants, and hotels. It banned discriminatory practices in employment. It ended segregation in public schools in public places such as swimming pools, libraries, and public schools. So all of that was a huge mistake. Make it make sense. So in his head, do he think that black people still should be sitting in the back of the bus? Do he think that black people should be going to schools with white kids? Because that's what I'm hearing. That's what I think when he says that the Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake. That's what I hear when I hear a man like that say something like that. Don't expect us to celebrate a man who put out so much hate into the world. Our current administration could have done a better job of handling this whole Charlie Kirk situation. Instead, they went on this whole rant blaming other people, blaming the far left, and it's all their fault. He was blaming radical left groups on it, and then evidence came up that there's no radical left group that has anything to do with Charlie Kirk's death. But that's what all these Republicans wanted to claim. And I just I don't know. I want this whole. I think his funeral was today, and I want this whole thing to be done. I want it to be over with. I can't wait till we can have better leadership. We need a lot more from our administration, more than what they're doing now. And right now, America is just a joke, right? Like all the other countries are laughing at us. We are just a joke to them right now. And then let's talk about Disney. Because of Charlie Kirk, our First Amendment rights are being squashed on more and more because of Charlie Kirk at this moment. I mean, it wasn't a I mean, now it's just full on dictatorship at this point, especially with the FCC just going after people who Donald Trump doesn't like. So Stephen Colbert was one of the first to have his show canceled after voicing his First Amendment right about the current administration. Now Jimmy Kimmel has been fired for using his First Amendment right to voice his opinion about Charlie Kirk. By the way, the administration is pushing for Jimmy Kimmel to don't go give money. Basically, they say donate. I just say give, whatever. Give money to Charlie Kirk's family and one of Kirk's foundations, which I don't think Jimmy Kimmel should do, because I went back and watched the clip that they figured that was just so offensive to Charlie Kirk. Now I don't feel like Jimmy Kimmel said anything that was offensive at all. I didn't see it. I didn't see anything offensive with what he said at all. And then for them to go to the lengths that they did to get this man's show canceled and pulled off the air, it's crazy. And I just can't with them. So this has caused Disney to lose billions of dollars with people canceling Hulu, Disney Plus, and other streaming services owned by Disney. I heard that people were canceling like timeshares. They had like lifetime passes like Disney World and all these other kind of things. I heard a lot of a lot of things related to Disney. People were canceling it. Um, be and all this is because they didn't stand up against the current administration. Jimmy Kimmel, and other everyday Americans are losing their jobs. Americans are not allowed to use the First Amendment right to voice their hate for or dislike for a person. Yes, hate speech is covered under the First Amendment. So if I want to say something hateful about somebody, there's no law against that and said I can't. If I want to say something hateful, I can say something hateful online, and there's nothing that can be done about it. There's nothing nobody can do about it. It is my First Amendment right. The current administration is going after TV networks that speaks bad about him and the current administration to have their TV license pulled by the FCC. We are under a full dictatorship at this point. This current administration wants to take away Americans' people's rights to talk bad about the American government. Me personally, will not back down. I would say the things that need to be said. This is the worst administration in American history. This current president cannot even form a proper sentence. And whoever wrote that speech for him in England when he was just a babbling mess should be fired. And if he wrote that himself, well, that just proves the point even more. I mean, just God, that was horrible. I mean, even the people that was sitting around the table didn't have a clue about what this man was talking about. Um, so people can't go on TV and express how they feel about this administration if it's bad. If they do, they get fired or hell, even put in jail for talking bad about Charlie. And yes, he did. They are trying to direct people for who was online making fun of Charlie and making fun of his death and making jokes and ha 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 and at Charlie after he was killed. Yeah, they're trying to stick the what's it, not Pam Bondi? I can't remember the other lady name. They try to stick them after them to have them put in jail and basically in jail time and fines and all that kind of stuff. Like the shit is crazy. But someone on Fox can go on TV and say that we need to euthanize homeless people. Like, yeah, it literally happens and it happened. I'm going to play that video for you if I can find it. Here we go.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
Like, you have to be shitting me. That man said that on live TV, and nobody on the MAGA side found anything wrong with that. Nobody. America, we like pull your shit together, okay? Pull it together because it's just too much going on right now, and y'all voted for this man, and the cost of living is so freaking high right now. Everything is constantly going up, and it's just, man, I'm just so over this administration right now. So to keep things going, let's move into what's been happening down in Mississippi. So a Mississippi man, Demar Travion, and Trey Reed, that's what they're calling him. Trey Reed was found dead. It was first reported to his family that he was found dead in his dorm room, which wasn't the case, by the way. He was found hanging from a tree. Police are saying that there was no foul play, meaning he did not do this to himself. This occurred on a campus of Delta State University, where more than 40% of the students are Black in Cleveland, Mississippi. But where this happened at was just west of the county where the lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till was. If you're not familiar with Emmett Till, there was this white lady who claimed that he whistled at her, and then a bunch of white dudes like converged on him, and they killed him and hung him, beat him and hung him. So for y'all to say that, oh, well, then they were saying like there was no foul play involved with him being hung. I'm like, that's just impossible to me. And then there was a white man, I believe the next day or a few hours later, who was hung too in Mississippi. And then they're suggesting that, oh, it's foul play involved in this. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm not a suicide. I'm not a suicide professional. I don't know. But I don't see, us hanging ourselves from a tree. Like I just don't like first of all, who's gonna go through all the resources? You know, if if this is a planned out suicide, you know, as a black man myself, that means I have to go to the store, buy whatever tools I need to hang myself. Then on top of that, but he ain't fat, so but I'm big. And I'm not afraid to climb my ass up no tree. I'm just sorry. And by the here's the picture of him, by the way. They saying that this man right here hung himself. Like I don't see it. I don't believe it, and I just don't see it. Colin Kaepernick is stepping in to have a second autopsy done to see if he really hung himself. And it's on the miss. If you guys don't know, he's when you know situations like this happens, he does help the fast steps in and have the family get a second autopsy to determine whether what the police saying happened. So we will find out in a few weeks what that report says. But I hope this young man really get justice for his death. So let's talk about stolen cars. I know it's all over the place, so this is some local news here. So there's been this trend of like stolen cars in our city and going on police chases and all this kind of stuff. So let me get into the story. So a car was stolen out of Indiana. Why can I talk? A car was stolen out of Indiana from a police officer's driveway. It was spotted in the Milwaukee area where police tried to pull it over because the vehicle had no plates on it. The vehicle ran away, leading the police on a 7-minute chase that ended on 35th and Valete. The vehicle struck another vehicle, killing a mom and her 2 sons. I believe one son was 21, the other one was 15 or 16. The 19-year-old man that they do have in custody was not the driver. The 19-year-old is being charged with possession of a firearm by an adjudicated delinquent bail jumping, felony driving. Wait, bail jumping. Oh wait, okay. I forgot to put my comma. Let's go back. He's being charged with possession of a firearm by an adjudicated delinquent. He's been charged with bail jumping felony, and driving or operating a vehicle without the owner's consent. So a lot of people are saying that the police need to stop chasing people, and there were some people saying that, oh, the police don't know how to drive. And my whole thing is, I believe they have to take a class on, a driving class. Like that's like a course they gotta drive on in order to, get out the academy. Um, so in my personal opinion, I believe that police should be chasing people. I'm a believer in it. I'm a believer in that. Yes, lives were lost in this situation, and I do feel bad for the family. But dangerous criminals needs to be chased down and locked up. I mean, how we ever expect to get get dangerous people off the street if the police officers don't chase them every time they run? So every time they run, and the police don't chase them, they're never off the streets. They're gonna be on the streets committing more crimes unless they get caught up somewhere else outside of a car and boom, there you go. They're caught. But other than that, yeah, yes, I believe that police chase this should happen. Police need to be chasing people down. Police need to do what's necessary to get people off the street. Um, I wouldn't, and then on top of that, like stop blaming the police for situations like this. Blame the person who ran. That's who you should be blaming. They are the ones who decided to run from the police and crash the car. Do not blame the police at all. I stand by the police on this situation. So there was a man and a woman charge. And when I saw this story, I'm like, what? Like, no, this can't be a real thing. So a man and a woman was charged after leaving their 6 kids locked inside of a storage unit. Locked inside of a storage unit. 34-year-old Charles Duprez, I don't know how you pronounce his name, and 26-year-old Astina Zelinsky have been charged. Charles was charged with the following: possession of a firearm by a felony, child neglect. Specified harm does not occur under 6 years of age. 4 counts. Child neglect. Two more child neglects for a kid under the age of 4, and Oh, they both got the same thing. So they both got the same charges, except that as Tina didn't get the gun charge for the firearm charge. And there was also reports that they left the kids inside the storage, like the storage container locker thing. I don't know what they call it, a storage unit, and they had the dog with them in a car. I'm like, why do you need to leave all your kids in the car with the dog in the storage? Whatever. It was a mess. Like I've heard of people like living in these like storage units where you're supposed to just go take your stuff and go store it in there. I heard of people living in there had like a whole living setup, but that wasn't the case here. Like this is the living conditions. Like they had one couch, that little bed thing right there, or box spring is what the kids were supposed to sleep on, and there was a bucket in there, just a single bucket for the kids to basically pee in. And I hope the kids never had to poop. I wonder was they locked in there, like locked in there. Like did they close the door and lock the kids inside the storage container? Like that's just sad and horrible. And these are the two idiots right here that are being charged with that. Like just I can't stand people sometimes. I just can't. Let's continue on with the show. JD Vance. Let's talk about JD Vance for a second. So a few weeks ago, JD Vance came to the state, well, the state that I live in. He didn't come to the city I live in, but he came to the state. So JD Vance came to the state of Wisconsin to speak at a place in La Crosse, Wisconsin. While he took digs at the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee is the largest city in Wisconsin with a population of almost 570,000 people. The city is home to the world's largest music festival, the Harley Davidson and the Harley Davidson Museum. There's great food, there's art, there's culture here. We talk about this a lot on the podcast. Every city has its problems. If there was no problems in a city, we wouldn't have a need for police officers, judges, detectives, prosecutors, and so on. Let's be truthful about something here. Crimes create jobs. It does. So like I said, if we didn't have these people committing these crimes, we wouldn't have a need for police officers, judges, and all these other kind of things. You might ask well, I already said that. All those jobs are there for people because of people committing crimes. People committing crimes are what feed all these people's families, like I said, the judges and everything. I know that oh wait. Let me get back on topic because I was about to go into a whole nother rant. But JD was talking about bringing in the National Guard to Milwaukee to help with crime. Do I think that Milwaukee needs National Guard? No. Do I feel like Milwaukee is a dangerous city? No. Here are some numbers for you for the first half of the year compared to last year. So homicides are up 13%, rape is up 1%, robbery is down 19%. Aggravated assaults are down 19%. Human trafficking is up 32%. Burglary is down 3%. Theft is down 7%. Auto theft is down 8%. Arson is down 26%. Total violent crimes are down 17%. Total property crime down 7%. So yeah. So like we are seeing a trend in things going down. Like I said, rape is only up by 1%, and then homicides are up by 13%. I don't know how to fix the homicide problem. Like I said, it's just some crazy people out here, and people just shoot people over the craziest thing. So we are seeing this decrease in crimes in some area. Bringing in our National Guard is not going to really help people. I just feel like it's going to it's like a way, like a tactic to put fear into people, making them think that things are worse than what they really are. You know how you can really fix this for crime problem? I feel like in any city, you know how you can fix the crime problem in any city? Start pricing people out of being able to live. That's the only thing that's the only thing I think of. Stop pricing people out of being able to live. If people can afford to live, crime will go down. I'm just saying. And also, speaking of the National Guard, so Trump sent the National Guards into Memphis, And it did not go as planned, for those of you who don't know. So YNs is what they're calling them, stole 2 of the National Guard's tanks and was driving them around. And I'm going to play that video for y'all. It's just a quick short video.
We're going to Memphis. Memphis is
That's the next city.
deeply troubled. And the mayor is happy. He's a Democrat mayor.
It was a bunch of kids on a tank. Like, they stole the National Guard tanks. Like, come on, man. Like, these people, you trying to put fear into these people. You trying to make people, you trying to use the National Guard to, make these people respect you. And as you could obviously from them stealing the tanks, they don't respect you, Donald Trump. Nobody who is not in your cult respects you. It's just not going to happen. It's not. And I don't know how else we can get that through your head. It's just not going to happen. Okay. We're almost done here. I got one more story for y'all. So, the Subway sandwich guy. So, for all of you who don't remember, there was a guy who threw a Subway sandwich at an ICE agent, or was a cop. The Justice Department was trying to charge him with a felony. Turns out the guy who threw the sandwich used to work in the Department of Justice and was fired by Pam Bundy. They have been unable to secure an indictment against him. They have tried to charge this man with everything, and the most they might be able to get him with is a misdemeanor, and that's it. So, you know what? And I still, every time I go back and I watch that video and I rewatch that video, I'll just be like, ha! It gets funnier every time. And so, for those of you who do live in Milwaukee, the federal government did approve $29 million to be able to help flood victims in Milwaukee. I believe the link is up online for you to go to apply for those funds. So make sure you guys go do that. And with all that being said, I'm going to head into final thoughts. Okay, so final thoughts. My final thought is I want a president that I can respect. I want a president who's going to stand up for people. I want a president that's not going to try to put fear into his own people to force them to respect him. Like, why is that so hard to get? Like, why can't we just get a president who wants to make sure that people are able to have a house over their head, a roof over their head, or food to eat, like basic human needs? Like, why can't we get a president who can do that for us? And then that'll be my final thoughts. And I just want to say before I go, make sure you head to direct.me/samecast different day podcast. We can hit up all our links. The links are in the bottom of this video, or if you're listening to it in the description, the links are down there. We can hit up our merch store. Our social media accounts is on there. Make sure y'all subscribe, like and subscribe our social medias accounts and stuff, because we can use the support. Make sure y'all do that. And I hope to see you all on the next episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast. Y'all have a good one.